if we were much more knowledgeable and understand how actually we're all in this together in so many ways, there would be less of this jealous, competing, cattiness that you're saying. The cattiness is sort of something that I think is just ingrained when we're young, that it's like we pit each other against each other as opposed to celebrating each other because we're not comfortable with ourselves. So then it becomes this thing that we're doing to other people when we're just not taking a look introspectively at like what we could be doing. And when we're confident, that's what Kelly and I say, like the perfect recipe. When you have courage and confidence in yourself, you're going to help others too. And you're not going to do what this cattiness, this jealousy thing that happens between girls and women. Yes.
This is the Energy Within podcast, all about accessing, nurturing, and building your energy and confidence so that you can design your life the way you want. My name is Carrie Jokala. I am your host. I am a Reiki practitioner, a fitness instructor, a wife, a mom to 2 little boys. And on this episode, I'm really excited to bring you Amy Klein from Give Her Courage, the Courage Academy. She and her partner, Kelly, have created this academy to help teach young girls how to have that foundation, how to have courage and confidence growing up. They teach leadership skills, they teach entrepreneurial skills, and they really just help with that overall blanket of confidence. Everything from the social aspects to the leadership aspects. And I think it's so important. And the reason that I wanted to have her come on and share that this academy exists is because this is something that I wish would have existed when I was young, because this was my main struggle growing up, was confidence. And I think it would have been so helpful. Even without social media, it was very hard growing up without confidence. And I can only imagine what it would have been like if social media had existed when I was younger. I don't know if I would have made it to where I am today, if my confidence level would be what it is. And now girls have that added pressure of seeing that highlight reel on social media. And it's one thing to say to them that it's a highlight reel, but it's another thing to help them really understand it. So that's one of the aspects that they go to in this Courage Academy to really help these young girls develop that confidence. So I'm really excited for you to hear this one. If you enjoy it, please share it. Zoom did cut in and out a little bit more than I would have liked on the audio, but we're still able to keep the vast majority of it together. So here we go. Well, Amy, I'm super excited to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So why don't you start off with who you are and what it is that you do?
Yes. So my name is Amy Klein, and I'm the co-founder of the Courageous brand with my wonderful partner, Kelly Roach. Our brand is both educational and retail company, and our mission is to instill courage, confidence, entrepreneurship, and leadership skills in the girls of our future. So we have the educational side. We have a gap year program for kids who are not ready to go to college or may want to choose a different path, working on building business plans and entrepreneurial skills. We have a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade entrepreneurship curriculum that we have been introducing to public schools. We have the Courage Academy for young girls. And then, of course, we like to say, wear your courage with our retail line.
Wow, that's a lot, but I love it.
Sure is. Remind me of that every day. Yeah.
And you just reminded me of a reel that I saw where someone was like, when someone tells you have your hands full with 4 kids, and she's like, I didn't know that. You're telling me for the first time.
After she says it all, she's like, hey,
right.
I do have my hands full.
Yeah. So what led you to start this in the first place?
Yeah. So my partner, Kelly, and I, we've been friends for a really, really long time, like BC. We met in college, which was a really long time ago at this point now. And she has a couple of her own companies. She has a coaching companies where she scales business online. And I had success in corporate America and sales and leadership. And I was pregnant with my daughter now she's 4. So this was almost 5 years ago, how long we've had this company. And we had met and we were talking about, what was it that we felt that what was really missing with women. And we felt like there was nothing for girls at a foundational age to learn how to, courage and confidence and leadership skills and all the entrepreneurial mindset, whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not, why those skills are so important. And they're not taught, and you kind of learn later in life.
Mm-hmm.
And, in corporate, I was fortunate to have some mentors. I didn't have the best female role model mentors, unfortunately. And I was looking for that send the elevator back down, because we're all in this together. I know we were just talking before, you're waking up with a baby still.
Yeah.
We all go through so much as women together. And it was sad to see so many women that I had originally looked up to, once they became my boss, it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. So we were having conversations for a while about this. Kelly, the same, she had the same sentiment. So also managing men versus women, I saw a huge disparity in confidence, and, men are much more apt to say how much, that they need a promotion, raise their hand at a meeting. Women, there's been a lot of encouragement to get them to show their worth, right? So when we came together, we said, well, what are we going to do about it? And we said, we have to teach this at a younger age to girls. So we launched our book, Just Be You, which teaches girls to believe in the power of you, to make your dreams come true, and also to celebrate your friends and their individualities too. And that led us to this whole educational side, and then the retail as well.
That's so awesome. I really wish something like that had been around when I was little.
That's why we were talking about this. So did we. Yeah.
Confidence was definitely something that I struggled with, that aspect of it for sure, growing up. And then I was not high up in any company, but I did have a management role, and I did okay with it. But when you mention it like that, I see that disparity between even how I acted as a manager versus the way some of the guys would be.
Right?
Yeah. And it would have been nice to have that foundation. So is that something that you struggled with as well growing up, or it's just something that you noticed in other girls?
For me, I feel like I always get asked this on the podcast, because they're like, where did it come from for you? I feel like confidence to me is something that all girls, I think, and all children, it's a bit developed, right? And we talk a lot about confidence as really practicing and taking imperfect action. We can speak more to that. But for me, I've always sort of had courage. I was never scared to go for it. I was never scared of failing. I wasn't scared of fear or what people thought, so to speak. And so I think for me, courage probably came before confidence, which then gave me confidence.
Right. Yeah.
And so, we Kelly and I look at this all the time, because we have a lot of girls in our academy. Some are confident, and then it gives them courage, or courage and confidence. But for me, I really feel like I would never in my mind settle for anything. And so I just kind of always faced fear to go after my dreams and passion. And then I developed confidence from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I noticed I was informed that there are some pillars to this Courage Academy. Could you speak a little bit about what those are?
Yeah. So we have one, the first and foremost is education, right? Educating girls on the entrepreneurial mindset. So we do a module every month, and leadership skills, teaching girls direct communication skills, teaching girls how to negotiate, teaching girls money management, teaching girls, resilience, mental toughness. And then another pillar is really just this social awareness, and teaching not just moms, or daughters, but their moms as well, the things that girls are going through in those tougher years, like social media bullying, positive body image, how to be unique and stand out. And we bring on an expert to talk to mom and daughter, because it's funny, it's interesting. It's a different take on what mom's seeing, her perspective, versus what daughter's actually going through. Right.
Yeah.
So it's really a learning experience for both. And then networking is one of our big pillars. So it's opening girls to teaching them about, opening their minds and meeting other girls to make connections, so that they have other doors open for them and they build other relationships. They're challenged in different ways. A lot of times girls, you have your one group in school, and that can be a detriment, or it could be, depending on what happens and what happens in the group. And it's, you are who you hang out with. So it's really good and important, I think, for girls to step outside of their one group. The one friend group can be great for some things, but there may be another friend group, for instance, in the academy that could challenge you in STEM if that's something you're interested in, or whatever it might be. And having somebody to bounce off ideas that are outside of a group who's already biased to some things that
Right.
is also a great outlet as well for them. So we say network girls to come out of it, courage and confidence, like really get comfortable with speaking, making friends. At every module, they have an action plan for themselves, whether it's they're going to start their own business or, they're uncomfortable speaking in front of a group of girls, whatever it might be, that they leave at the end of 12 months and they're much more confident in who they are as a person.
As you were talking about like the group of girls that you hang out with and how that can be a good thing or a detriment, I had so many different instances just from my own life and from, my sisters and different things that have happened there. And I remember kind of forming this belief or this perspective as I was growing up, and I was kind of being made to be like the outsider and not really a part of any group. Like I fell into one group, but it was because we were all like the outsiders. We didn't really fit together. We were just everyone else who was pushed out. So then there was an even weirder dynamic within that group. And I grew up kind of forming this belief that girls are catty, girls are, snarky with each other, whereas you would think like part of your mission to get us all to come together and support each other.
Yes.
Do you notice that, like, is that kind of an innate thing that we kind of, I don't want to say catty. I don't really like the word catty, but you know what I mean.
And I get completely what you're saying. That's why Just Be Used is about celebrating girls. There is something with girls, like we're about taking responsibility for ourselves and being better for women. Like for me to be in a leadership role, it is my responsibility to send the elevator back down. That's how I feel. Mm-hmm. Whereas I don't feel like it's something that we have to work on as girls. And I agree with you. I think we look back to our childhoods, like nobody's right. Nobody's right. Kids growing up, developing, right? Mm-hmm. And without the right guidance, because I don't think our parents' generation really knew, we were just, doing things that I feel like if we were much more knowledgeable and understand how actually we're all in this together in so many ways, there would be less of this jealous, competing, cattiness that you're saying. The cattiness is sort of something that I think is just ingrained when we're young, that it's like we pit each other against each other as opposed to celebrating each other because we're not comfortable with ourselves. So then it becomes this thing that we're doing to other people when we're just not taking a look introspectively at like what we could be doing. And when we're confident, that's what Kelly and I say, like the perfect recipe. When you have courage and confidence in yourself, you're going to help others too. And you're not going to do what this cattiness, this jealousy thing that happens between girls and women. Yes.
Yeah. I think that's an important point because that's what I always believe confidence is it's actually something calm. It's not something where you walk in the room and you're like, hey, look boisterous. At me.
Yes.
You make people feel comfortable being themselves by you just being yourselves and being confident. So it's real confidence would have that kind of ripple effect.
100%.
And I noticed too, like it always seemed like boys, for some reason, they could get in this huge fight and then 10 minutes later, it's like nothing happened. Whereas girls,
not talk about it, just move on. Girls get in a fight and it's like for the next year, it's just mudslinging back and forth. Yeah.
Another thing that was mentioned was ADHD. Is that something that you see a lot in girls that come into this academy? Because I've heard that girls tend to be underdiagnosed versus boys.
Yeah, I mean, so I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was a kid. I don't, from being and from my own personal experiences, it diagnosed a lot less because boys actually, when boys have ADHD, we see that energy or like that displaced energy a lot earlier. We don't see it as much with girls, but I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to like go too deep into like what I think about that. Other than what I can say is that I always talk about, for me, I was diagnosed with ADHD and I'm very smart and capable, but I just grew up in a traditional educational system that taught one way, and it wasn't the way I learned. So I did struggle with that a lot. And also, I was also in an era too, or generation, I would say, that it was almost made fun of, like it wasn't a real thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that's another part of it that I think that people with ADHD definitely struggle with, is like, okay, not only do you not really want to talk about it because you learn differently or whatever it might be, but then when you do, people make it like it's not a thing and you're using it as an excuse.
Right.
And so I think that was a place to be in, because I know that I really was struggling with the way that I learned, and I've always had a lot of energy, and I had to learn for myself. I mean, I taught myself structure. I taught myself how to like take that energy and turn it into something that was useful and productive, right? Instead of using it in aggressive ways or other ways that that you don't necessarily do. But I kind of taught myself how to do that, because it wasn't, I don't feel like, we see now in schools, the social emotional learning and everything, which is great. It's getting better. It just wasn't there when I was a kid. So I think we didn't really learn how to be in touch with our emotions and use, have self-awareness and emotional intelligence. And I kind of had to learn that on my own. So we at the Game Changer event, I talked, it was like being in a traditional educational system and having ADHD. And I also got diagnosed late, because I don't want to speak to like if it was a girl or a boy thing,
right.
But it was either that, or it was also the generation where we weren't really cognizant of it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was hard getting diagnosed late, and then also people being like, oh, it's not really a thing. And a lot of what we do is like with entrepreneurs, a lot of them are ADHD.
That's what I keep hearing. Yeah.
Yes. And so a lot of Kelly and I preach on is that just the educational system and looking outside of that to see where your child lights up, what lights them up, and that it's okay if the way that they learn is different than the way that, is traditionally taught to them.
I love that you said the phrase to follow what lights them up, because that is so part of my mission lately. And it's a phrase that keeps coming up. I love that. Everything just lines up, synchronicity all the time. So do the strategies and the I guess you could say coping mechanisms that you learned to help you thrive within your ADHD, do those principles factor into what is taught in the Courage Academy?
No, actually. So for me, I didn't professionally how to, I just did I knew that I had to create a structure for myself in order to be successful in corporate America, starting my own business, being a mom, right? And I'm wearing many hats. We all are. And I knew probably in my early 20s that if I didn't create the structure for myself, I can get very distracted. I can, end up doing something else way off topic. And so I just taught that to myself. What we do teach in the academy that I would say is similar to some of the things that I just acceptance of everybody for who they are, following your passion and your dreams, learning what your strengths are, but also knowing what your weaknesses are, learning what your things that you need to work on. And that's all emotional intelligence, like being human, being imperfect and taking imperfect action. That's something I've done my whole life. And that is taught in the academy.
The more people that I talk to that I find out have ADHD and the things that they say they do, the more I'm starting to think like, do I have that too? Like I do that too. Do I have it?
I think everybody has it to some degree.
On a level,
anyway.
Different levels,
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit about the body confidence issue, because I don't remember the statistic, but I took a look at the website and there was a really sad statistic about how many young girls are afraid of being fat or, not looking the way that society expects them to. Can you speak a little bit on that and what you see and how you guys help them work through that?
Yeah. So a lot of that I think has to do with just social media today, because we get everybody's highlight reel, right? So what they're scrolling through, I mean, even if you look at TikTok, I don't know, my generation, if they did TikTok today, we were goofy. We did not, you know what I mean? We did not. So I think it's really hard to see this in your face all the time. And what we talk a lot about is, one, I mean, they're they're one and the same, but they're still two separate topics. There's body image, and then there's social media and what's being presented to you. It's first understanding social media and that it's people's highlight reels. And social media is a one. If you want to build a business, if you want to build a personal brand, if you want to have a podcast, whatever you want to do, you to do it without investing millions of dollars to start a business today. Like, you can really brand. Wonderful. Great. Keeps us all connected. There's so many great things, but at the same time, because people are showing their highlight reel, because they're promoting whatever they're promoting, this is what's in these girls' faces all the time. And it's a reminder what we do. We bring on experts. We bring on celebrities. We have celebrity guests. So we'll have, we had Jillian Spader from Walk the Prank on Nickelodeon, actresses, Karen Chen, an Olympian skater. And they talk about the fact that, like, this isn't what everybody wakes up and looks like, right? Like this is a promotion. This is a brand, and you have to separate that, right? That's not how, you can't look at that and be like, this is how somebody looks all the time. These are filtered. There's filters. There's all different things that people are doing to display what they want to display. So that's the first part. The second part, or the second thing is body image. And really, what we talk about to moms too and daughters is teaching your daughter how to be strong and have a strong body, because working out and taking care of yourself is longevity for you and your future and your stamina to be successful in whatever you want to do, to feel good, to one day be a mom and want to run around and chase after your kids, like whatever it might be. Being strong is important. And as moms, we don't realize this a lot, even though we want to raise daughters who are in the body that they have and look the way that they, be happy with the way they look. We say things all the time about ourselves that they hear at a young age. And it could be so innocent, just like, I want to lose 10 pounds after the holidays, or whatever it might be. Your daughter's listening. And you might not even mean what you're saying, but it's going in her mind that you're not happy with the way you see yourself. So should she be happy with the way she sees herself? Right? So there's a couple things happening there. And I think it really starts with teaching our daughters at a young age to be strong.
And not do cabbage diets and all the things that I remember seeing. Not to call out my mom, but my mom was part of that generation.
My mom did that all the time.
I remember seeing the recipe up.
Like,
I don't even like cabbage. Like, that's disgusting.
It was so gross.
And you bring up one of my favorites. It's not really a quote, but I just remember hearing someone who was a model saying something like, looking at her own picture and being like, well, I wish I looked like that. Like even the models are like, that's not what I look like.
Yes, 100%.
Speaking of motherhood, so you said a 4-year-old daughter? I have
a 7-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter.
Okay.
Yes.
So is it tough being a mom and running something like this? It sounds so big to me, like it's going to take up a lot of your time. Is it hard to find balance between the two?
I mean, yes, everybody. So Kelly has other companies. I have other companies, and we're both parents, and we're doing this. And when anyone asks us if it's hard, 100% it's hard. Like, yes, it is really hard. What was the hardest for us probably was the first couple of years when there was zero ROI and we were getting up at 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. before we had our family and our jobs and everything, and then coming back to it late at night with nothing to show for, right? So yes, it's super hard, but it's super rewarding. And, I was in it for the long game, and that really need to teach our kids and our girls and our sons and everybody. Do something, you got it in for the long game. When you're looking at somebody on social media who has success, that's 10 years in the making, and they mental toughness to stick through it and to make it happen, and their values were aligned to what they wanted to do. So they stayed with it to make it happen. And even when you do, you're still, it's hard work. It's not a picturesque, social media thumbnail that we see coming by, sitting up on like this beautiful pale pink couch, sipping coffee. It's not going to be like that,
with the kids in nice white clothes.
Then I need to figure out that secret.
Right. The nice clean house, the kids in the nice pressed white clothes. And it's like that was 1 second that magically got captured by the camera. And then I
had to get the image for the social media. Then I spilled the coffee all over me. Then something went wrong with work. Then the kids crying. Right.
I know. There you go. The highlight reel again. We gotta always remember to take a step back and just know that everybody's sharing their best, even if they're being authentic and they're sharing a little bit of the struggles.
And that's okay.
It's still
That's
a highlight
exactly
reel.
it.
Yeah.
That's what we tell our girls. It's okay to do that. You're learning marketing and branding and all the stuff that you need to do aesthetically, the way you want your account to look for your company. You just have to it's teaching our kids the psychology behind that, so they understand that's just not how it always is.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have to say, especially now that I'm a mom, that my favorite entrepreneurs to look up to that I resonate with the most are the ones who do at least appear to have that balance, that healthy balance between still being a really successful entrepreneur and going after their goals and living their purpose, but still being able to show up for their kids and not just say they're showing up for their kids, because there's a difference. They're like, oh yeah, my kids are my priority, but okay, but you're never home. So
100%. Yeah, no, I agree. And really it's about, it's about the quality time that you're spending with your children. Because people ask all the time, and this is something I honestly think from me having ADHD and teaching myself structure, because I had no choice but to, that it actually helped me show up and be present where I need to be, because I learned those skills.
Mm-hmm.
So when I am at work, whether I'm at work 9 to 5, from the moment I'm done work until my kids go to bed, I'm with my kids, and then I come back. Right. And then on the weekends, I'm only with my children, and like I'm all in on family, and I'm in that moment. Like I've taught myself how to compartmentalize that. When I'm working, because we do not do ourselves any justice by sitting there thinking about, oh my gosh, Parker's lunch and Hudson's this, or something I'm thinking about there. And then I'm not getting my work done. And then all of a sudden my hours are spewing over. Right. Then I'm with my kids. If I'm thinking about work, what kind of while my daughter's telling, right? But that's what I've learned, because there's only so much time you can give to everything. So you need to be present with your children or your work when you're in that moment, and you'll be happier. You'll be a better mom. You'll be a better business person.
Mm-hmm. So I know you've mentioned about the moms being part of some of these conversations. Are the moms encouraged to be very involved in the academy with the girls, or is it kind of just at certain times?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because it's really what the mom wants. Our goal is for the daughter to learn independence, right?
Okay.
So if you're thinking about a working mom, or maybe you go to do a podcast or whatever you're doing in the evening, Tuesday nights are for the academy. So the girls all come on around 6 or 7, and it's a safe place that your daughter can go while you're doing whatever you need to do, right? Because this is an education for her. This is opening her mind to bigger things for herself. And you can send your daughter to a place that you're not worried about, right? On social media. But that being said, we do really encourage moms to be in on the experts for the social topics, because it's eye-opening. I'm not an expert in mental health or any of those arenas. I can talk to you about business all day, but I can't talk to you about that stuff, right? So it's really interesting, especially because I have a 4-year-old daughter. So I'm not there yet with what I remember that stuff, but I'm not there yet. And it's really eye-opening to see the mom's perspective when you hear the expert talking about positive body image, and she's like, I am doing some of that stuff, and I didn't even it's innocent, right? Innocent. And then it's the daughter's perspective too, to understand mom. So I think it's a good bonding for them, because those years are tough. It's tough for mom and daughter to really have a strong relationship during those years. My mom and I'm the oldest of 5. Okay. And I was ADHD, so I wasn't the easiest child. And so I fought a lot during those years with my sisters, with my mom. And I think that we can change that moving forward if we all have better awareness. Like, it's not my mom's fault. It's not my fault. It's just what we didn't know what we didn't know. Right. And now that we can know, I think mom and daughter can have a stronger relationship through those tough years.
Yeah. It's interesting because I always have been close to my mom, and I know that my mom knew that I was a little bit of the outsider, and not by choice necessarily. And she had an idea how I was being treated, but she really tried hard not to step in too much, because she had stepped in in a certain situation with one of my older sisters, and it did not work out well.
Goes
She had
too
good
well.
intentions,
Yeah.
but it unfortunately it backfired a little bit. And so when she saw what I was going through, she tried to give me advice and help me and do the best she could. But, you know, it was still kind of up to me, and I didn't really have the courage or the confidence to.
And the tools.
Right.
And that's what it is.
It was interesting because I wrote, it's no longer up, unfortunately, because I lost the website years ago, but I had written a blog series about gaining confidence and where I came from and how I developed to the confidence that I, have now. And I was sharing a lot of that story and a lot more of the details and stuff without calling anybody out, but just like what I was feeling, what I had experienced. And my mom read it and she's like, I had no idea you were feeling like that. And I was sitting there thinking, like, you didn't? How? I thought you did know because you knew what was going on. But you can know the bigger picture, but you don't always know the little details. And sometimes the little details are what's making the biggest difference.
Yep. And I think it's to no one's fault when you don't know what you don't know. Like your mom did not know how to navigate that situation because she didn't have the tools in her tool belt either, probably to do it. And she thought what she was doing was best, know, and that's what I feel like is pretty eye-opening with the Academy. Same thing. My mom was running a company, and back then it wasn't really looked in a good light to be a working, so to speak. You had to still do it all. We're smarter and we don't care. Like I have a lot of business and stuff. If someone's cleaning my house, someone's cleaning my house. So I can spend the time with my kids. Then it was like a pride thing, so she's trying to do everything, raise 5 kids, and they don't have these tools. And so that's really what it is. But now I feel like with all the information we have, and unfortunately, we see like with suicide rates among teenagers, just depression, anxiety, COVID really exacerbating a lot of this stuff now with the isolation. We have the tools and we can do better, I think.
For these girls in the academy, is growing up to maybe follow that entrepreneurial path or even just be a working mom and have that balance with your kids, is that an idea that's somewhere in there? I realize it wouldn't be an overarching thing because they're not moms now, but but like preparing them for that. But preparing them for that down the road. That they can do it all, but not in the way that not in the martyr sense, but that they can do all they want to do.
Be the doctor, and that's what our Just Be You book is about. And what we teach is you can be anything you want. Like you have the power within you to make your dreams come true. You are the only person who will get in your way and stop you from achieving your dreams. Nobody else. And that's the bigger message. And then, yes, it is. I mean, but I think us as moms, us as leaders, we're setting that example. I'm setting an example, in business as having children and, when I am with my kids and there's a no time zone that I'm going to answer you and when I'm going to come back. Right. So it's showing you that you can do it. And I think we're more open and comfortable because we talk about being imperfect, that like, I don't have it all together. Some days I feel like I'm a better mom than I am at business. Sometimes I feel like I'm better at business than I'm being a mom, and that's okay. And it's normal. I think there was this whole idea before and it's somewhat created. So yeah, but on social media, I do feel like the highlight reels, it's our responsibility to teach people to understand what that means. I think when we grew up, it was like this idea inside the house is this perfect housewife, right? And we can't show what's going on. And so that's something that we're teaching girls now, that it's okay to be like, I'm having a bad day. Okay. Yeah. I need a break.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be human. Yeah.
I know I've had a few, at least on my stories, some posts like, today sucks, man. Like, I'm tired. Yes. I'm here, but don't look at me. Just,
100%.
I think this is just such an awesome thing that you and your partner do. And just, I want to say thank you for putting something like this out into the world to encourage girls, because I do think it is so needed. And obviously you're proving that by the very fact that you guys exist and what you've been able to do so far. So thank you for the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
How about you let everyone know how they can connect with you, how they can find the Courage Academy, sign their daughters up if they want to?
Yeah. So you can follow us on Instagram at Give Her Courage. We have a website, givehercourage.com, and that is where you can wear your courage. We have women and young girls, really just leisure wear. We've got hoodies and leggings and tees and tanks. And then for the academy, right now it's at givehercourage.com. It will be bridgetofreedom.com probably by the time this airs. We're just separating the education so people can go direct and don't have to find it. And the academy will be there. Our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade curriculum is there. Our gap year is there. Anything you want to learn, Courage Academy, entrepreneur, leadership skills, that's all bridgetofreedom.com. And Give Her Courage will be all our retail.
Awesome. So real quick, what age do you recommend the girls start the academy in?
Yep. 10 plus.
Okay.
We do have some girls that are younger. It's just really, we have a few 7 and 8-year-olds, but it's all dependent, unique. You know your daughter best.
Sure.
What I would do is get on the phone with somebody on our team. They'll go through a day in the life of a Tuesday evening, and you can determine if your daughter's, old enough for it.
Okay. Awesome. Well, this has been a really great conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, that was so cool to have Amy come on this podcast. She's another person who I found through that podcasting connection group that I joined and really loved the sound of the mission and the fact that it's uplifting girls and helping to teach them from a young age how to have that courage and have that confidence. And I wanted to bring her on because that's something, if you've been following along with me, that you know I did not always have. I struggled with that growing up. That was the initial thing that started me podcasting and trying to share that message of how to grow your confidence. And that's still a part of the mission. That's still part of the end goal. So to also have that be taught and carried through to girls at a young age so that they have that foundation, I think is so important and so good to have. So if that is something that you think your daughter would benefit from, I encourage you to go and look them up and see if that's a good fit. Also, I am so excited to invite you into the Energy Club, which is a brand new monthly membership, which I just launched, just opened the doors to, and I can't wait for you to experience. The whole goal behind this membership is a way for you to get ongoing, regular Reiki and other types of healing sessions every month without having to pay a ton of money. So since I've become a Reiki master, individual sessions have now gone up to $75. And what this membership is going to give you is so much more than just one individual session. If that's all you're interested in, please follow the link in the show notes. I invite you to come do that one session with me whenever you feel you need it, as often as you feel you need it. But if this is something that you feel you could benefit from on a regular basis, this is your way. It's going to help you connect more with yourself, reduce your stress levels, heal your energy, increase your energy. We address your energy on all of the levels that I always talk about, bringing together mind, body, spirit, taking care of all aspects of you. So within this membership, every month, you get 2 individual Reiki sessions per month, 1 group Reiki session. I want to help foster that sense of community and feeling like we're connected. You're also going to get 1 exclusive pre-recorded guided meditation every month. It's something that will not be released outside of the membership. I can't say never, because if there's one that's really good, I might share it as like a little a little bonus to say, hey, this is the kind of stuff you get in the membership. I'm just being honest. But 99% of the time, it's going to be exclusive. And you also get full access to my virtual fitness studio to help take care of the physical energy. Your first month, you're going to get a code to download my confidence boosting meditation collection for free. And every month, I'm going to bring in a guest expert to help you explore other avenues of taking care of your energy. So if you are in the Energy Project, which there's still time to join, it's going on this week. We started on Monday. But if you're listening to this on the day of release, on Thursday, May 6th, my friend Aaliyah Quiles is coming in to do a breathwork session, and that's going to happen at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. The recording will be available, so if you can't be there live, you can absolutely check out the replay. But she is also going to remain the special guest for the first month of the membership. So if you join the membership, you will get another special breathwork session with Aaliyah. I also have a yoga teacher in the works, a dietitian that I'm speaking with. I want to help you be able to truly take care of yourself on all levels. So you are going to get all of that every month at Founders pricing for as long as you remain a member. Founders pricing is $100 a month. So one individual Reiki session, $75. The membership, $25 extra to get all the extra. And I'm so excited. And I really hope that this is something that can help serve you. I want you to experience healing and energy and excitement and be ready to live your life fully being yourself, fully stepping into your purpose, removing all of the blocks that are in front of you. So if that sounds like that might be for you, please check out the link in the bio. Please let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. If you would like a taste of it, jump into the Energy Project, the free challenge that is going on this month to give you that little sneak peek into what the membership is going to look like. If you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I sincerely hope that you did, please share it. Take a screenshot, do a screen flow, tag me, tag Give Her Courage. Let us know what you liked. Let us know if this is something that you think would benefit your daughter. And again, I highly encourage you to look into the Courage Academy as well, especially if you have a young daughter who really needs that help building or even maintaining her courage and her confidence. Thank you so much, as always, for being here, and I'll see you next time.